Hey there, my fellow trap builders. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Jurassic Splashdown. Episode 6, Keeping the Kids from Combat Zones. Okay, Herbs is flying. So I think what I'm going to do is not allow resowing for a bit, so I can, of the rice, so I can make room for the herbs. Because I've literally nowhere to put them at the moment. Are you... Okay, you might try to eat me. Got it. I'm probably going to have to clear that up. Looks like smithing is next. Trying to get technological progress. I'm all about that. Right, let's get the granite airlock done, and then I can start working on a trap corridor. I don't necessarily want to make traps like in a meta way for corridors. I'm going to set up... I'm going to set them up slightly differently, so that it doesn't feel like RimWorld min-max, because I'm actively trying to work against RimWorld min-max. Okay. Stone perimeter is complete. Stone all the way around except for the wooden doors. And we are going to be building defenses. So spike traps are going to be the name of the game for a while. Maybe sometime in the future we'll be able to actually get like automated turrets and the like. But given that we're going to be mostly spike traps, the most important thing about spike traps is the children cannot be compromised. That's a big one, right? Nabla and Doppy are not going to survive a spike trap landing on them. So the most important thing going forward is to make sure that the children cannot and will not ever be around a spike trap, which means I have to be very careful about where I lay them out, because I don't want them to become collateral. So... we have the biosolids. Before I start making the spike traps, I'm going to make the other composter so that we can start composting our biosolids. And then we'll work out exactly how the spike traps are going to work. So, in terms of terrain, there is some marsh that might be handy to weaponize. So one of the things I was thinking is to try to design an entryway into our base where we lure enemies through a marsh and then have the marsh lead to spike traps as we fall back. I think I'm going to do something akin to that, which means it's a bit of a larger project, but designing it in such a way where, because the plants here, the palms and the like, don't offer significant cover. 25% is pretty bad. So if I create a wall like this, where we have the entryway here, I'll have to bridge some of the section here, so it's not all going to be stone. But it shouldn't be a large enough section that it's going to be easily exploitable by the enemies. And bring this together, building a wall like this, and then having this path tunnel come all the way back, connecting. Maybe giving me a little bit more space here for like sandbags and the like. And then this tunnel, there will be two tunnels coming back to the base, one with traps and one without. Both leading into like a hole here. So this is more or less the scope of the project. It's not perfect, it's messy, and it's really rudimentary. But it should keep the majority of the bad enemies at bay. I'm hoping. That's sort of what I had in mind, to make it look very simple, but effective. Teacher, thank you for the sub. And Blue Days, thank you for the resub. Oh, you wanted to thank me for the Astronauts content. Oh, my pleasure. I really enjoyed playing Astronauts, and I'm glad that my community pushed for me to do it. I guess you saw the wife come by with a fresh thing of coffee. So the biosolids composter here, it doesn't really matter if it's in the rain or whatever, and its temperature tolerance is enormous, from 19 Celsius to 60 Celsius. And 19 Celsius is... we might need to move it inside in the winter, but like during the summer, that's not going to be an issue. The other thing is I'm going to put a temporary pause on the walkway in lieu of the defenses, because you guys vote for defenses, not the aesthetic walkway. I get that. So let's start throwing some stonework down. I don't want any of this to be, or as little of this as possible to be wood, because wood will just burn inevitably. So the whole point of over-engineering this for stone is so that I don't end up with the defenses I built going up in flames. And then with a door here and a door there, this large section I can switch where enemies are encroaching. And then with this forking path, we can have plenty of traps on one side and no traps on the other. Although, to be fair, this is looking more and more like a meta RimWorld setup. Are flame traps a bad idea in such a wooden map? They're a bit too close, in my mind, to like meta design for RimWorld that I wouldn't necessarily want to employ such tactics. The other thing I might do in this instance is have Spieler come out here and help me with this, because this is a lot of work. So zoning for close is going to include this area, and then Spieler is going to be zoned to close and told to plank cut at a really high priority. And then I'll have Ken round up a lot of stone for the kiddos to cut. Because, yeah, Ken alone is not going to be able to tackle the scope of this project. It's just too much work. And then in this spot, what I'll do is another airlock. So we'll have, like a granite door leading to a wooden door. On top of all of that, at this end, I want a way to close it off so it doesn't get used. Because I don't necessarily want animals to go stomping through this thing. Actually, it should probably be a wooden door to a granite door, now that I think about it. Because I don't want dinosaurs to just, like, trigger this and waste resources. I'm trying to keep tabs of where the dangerous critters are. It'd also be a good idea to floor it up, because if we floor it up with either steel or stone, the flammables get removed. So Ken, this is gonna kind of suck for you, but I need to wholesale move a lot of chunk. And this allows me to move 2 in one run rather than 1. Alright, Spieler, I don't need that. Go back to the tunnel. He's a chunky boy now. I mean, he's pretty brawny. That much is true. He was definitely a hunter going into this, a frontiersman. Definitely one of those intense-looking fathers. The type that at an intramural sports game you wouldn't cuss out. Maybe he'd be the ref. Who knows? There's a bunch of stone for Doppy to work on. I'm gonna move even more. Because I know the scope of this project is a lot of stone. Basically all the stone that we just invested in our base, but for defenses. Which I think is pretty reasonable, right? Like, it's a slightly over-engineering, but one of the things to know about the dinosaur mod I'm using is some of the dinosaurs hunt in packs. So being hunted by pack animals, by pack hunters, I should say, not pack animals, that's kind of different, is like low-key kind of dangerous, which is why I've gone to such lengths to make sure that we aren't outside for very much of the time, and when we're outside, we are close to home, because I don't really want like a pack of dinos coming to eat me. That would not be good. It's also possible to, so the palms here, maybe I'll cancel harvest, because these can be brewed into alcohol. So I might want to leave them alone. I'm not too concerned about the cover that they offer anyway. If you're wondering if a T-Rex can appear, that's a yes. I'm not entirely sure they're native to this region, though. They might be temperate forest critters. I'm not 100% sure what biome they exist in. Off the top of my head. But... Chat, can you stop chatting about me getting eaten by dinosaurs? Please and thank you. I don't know how to say that. Okay, don't go outside. Nope, nope, nope. We're inside today. They don't hit very hard, but they run way fast. Yep. It's inside time. In fact, out of an abundance of caution, I'm triggering all the stone doors. Yeah. So they are very fast, very low damage, but like, we don't really have medicine, so I'm not too keen on being scratched up by a dinosaur with a dwindling supply of medicine. That sounds like a bad time. Speaking of medicine, I am going to have Ken try to clean up all the seeds in the farm. And then, make an effort to plant some healing meds next. That's gonna get annoying. Solar flare. Yeah, okay. It's not much of a threat to me, pal. Solar flare. My sun might be a deadly laser, but I don't have technology for you to laser. Deep water defenses is a defense that I've used a lot in the past, but if you're wondering, the tropical rainforest here doesn't have any, like, deep water. There's no ponds for me to exploit for dinosaurs. I picked a map tile that didn't have such water features, so I wouldn't be tempted to ever use it and exploit it. So there's not really a way for me to shoot at dinosaurs without them being able to retaliate. Very much by design, if you're wondering. Alright. Heelroot seeds, I've got only 10. So I'm going to very conservatively plant only 5 heelroot here. Because I don't want to use up all my seeds and then lose access to the seeds. That would be tragic. Alright, the adjusted inside zone. So inside the farm is not correct in a tiny swath. So that it was good for you to ask. Yeah, there is one little section that was wrong. In a bad way. On the wrong side. But yeah, okay, the inside zone is correct now. And there's no way anyone goes outside to somewhere dangerous. And yeah, there is a predator right here, and there's 2 manhunters here. It's like, I gotta be careful. How's our rice seeds? 191? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because there's really not anything to work on the external walls, I'm gonna work on the defenses right now. Tiling up the walkway. And Spieler is working on smithing. So, getting machinery, or electricity rather, without other things won't really be all that helpful, but I think if it was up to me, I would be pushing towards, like, fabrication and microelectronics to sort of enter the industrial era. And I'll be, once we have smithing, I'll pull you guys about what comes thereafter. It's nice we're no longer sleeping in the cold, though. And then, as far as growth tiers go, we're pushing to tier 1. We haven't done a lot of lessons. There's still a lot more education infrastructure that we need before we offer, like, properly good education to our kids. But it's definitely a work in progress, and it's getting better. Oh, a cache of treasure. We've intercepted messages. How? I don't know. So it's a language book for the Lioa language. Cool. The Savage Brewer, which is a really nice book. And then information about smithing. A book about smithing. The problem is it's an item stash that's not close. I think it would be pretty irresponsible to... Oh, God. And there's even more crazy animals. I think it would be pretty irresponsible to leave a parent alone guarding the children, especially given that I don't have weapons. So maybe in the future when I have, like, automated turrets and other specialized defenses, it makes sense to have, like, a parent go out and explore. But until that time, which is going to be a while from now, I don't think it's smart to leave the base. Right? I don't want to leave my kids to fend for themselves with mama that doesn't know how to use a gun. Like, that's reckless and stupid in equal measure. And bringing all the family? Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to feed yourself to the dinos. I won't be doing that either. I wouldn't mind actually taking pot shots at this Miniseries. If I see an opportunity to mess with it, I think I will. Is it? Oh, it's not even manhunted anymore. Never mind. Sending mama to the cache? Yeah, equally stupid. I'm sorry to say. Well, alright, you can keep trying to argue the point. I'm saying I'm not doing it. Sending someone that doesn't know how to defend herself to go fight dinosaurs that run faster than her? Yeah, okay. Well, the garden walkway is almost done. It's looking nice. And the little chicken dino is, well, it hasn't given up yet. But I think it's leaving. So I'm about to be able to lift the lockdown. Yep, there it goes. So I was like one tile away from finishing the walkway. So I think I'm just going to finish it, even though it's not part of the project, and then we'll get back to the defenses. The other thing I have not done in a long time is update the home zone, because I never remember to do that. So let's go ahead and do that. Fortunately, I haven't had any, like, fires or anything. I think I would have noticed if I had fires and I wasn't fighting it. But yeah, we have a new and improved home zone that actually includes the home. And I should also probably open up the granite doors, because trying to flee dinosaurs through heavy stone doors is terrible. So these were only closed so that the manhunters weren't encouraged. I feel like this Meganura is a bit too interested in my presence. It's been hovering. Oh, I killed it. I'm gonna leave it out here because it's a bug. I don't want bug meat. You got split up from your pack due to the fact that you tried to hunt me. You know, I might take advantage of that. At the very least, it's shooting practice. Oh, you got mad. Did I shoot you in the leg? I did. And down you go. Chitin could still be useful. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I just got better things to do. We don't have complex clothing yet, so it's pretty low on my things I'm going to care about list. So after we make the fine meals, I'm going to completely process all of the rest of the meat via pemmican. It's not too hard to hunt dinos, especially dinos that separate from their pack. So the Pachyosaurus, I think, are actually kind of fast. No, they're not that fast. So the Pachyosaurus and the Ankylosauruses are pretty huntable. And then any of the Myosauruses that break from the pack are pretty huntable. So, like, I can wait for opportunities to do some hunting, and it shouldn't be too bad. It is nice to have some good meals, too. So we're doing batches of Pem, because Pem will take a very long time to spoil. So we're starting to get our build up of Pem. And the no raw food policy is also not going to include pemmican. So I'm having the packets of red meals and the pemmican reserved for, like, bad times. Emergency provisions, if you will. Alright, I'm setting Spieler back up to clear out this area. And there's a lot of wood logs that need to be hauled as well. The question I have for you guys is, after I get smithing, should I get beer brewing? The reason to get beer brewing is I can turn these palms into beer if I want beer. I mean, no one's really upset. If you look at the moods, it's not like I'm hurting. And I'm sure there's also ambrosia out here to harvest. The reason I haven't been going after the ambrosia is, like, it's unlikely that I consume it before this ambrosia rots in 20 days. Because I have more ambrosia than I know what to do with. Which is why I've been ignoring the ambrosia. The other thing to potentially research is working my way up to machinery, which requires electricity. So I could also research electricity. I think smithing is also going to open up some opportunities for plumbing as well. So once I have smithing, I'll be able to get plumbing. Now, a compost, there is an advantage to the composting toilet that I have right now, the latrine, because I can then create fertilizer. So even if I have access to plumbing, moving away from a composting toilet might be a bad idea. Unless I don't want, you know, unless I don't care about soil fertility. So speaking of which, let's set up a fertilizing area. Because we are currently composting. So I'm not going to try to make the infertile soil more fertile. I'm just going to make the fertile soil better. Is there a composting barrel that does what the toilet does? So we could... So to answer your question, if we ended up getting septic tanks, we could intentionally drain the septic tanks to take the fecal sludge out of it to then compost it. But there's no way to automatically do it. So one way or another, I'm going to want to... it's like a manual process that's relatively unavoidable. Oh, it also looks like we are out of firewood. There we go. Alright, only one meat is going to spoil. That's waste not, want not levels of commitment. Doing a little bit of a predator check. This is probably the most dangerous predator, because the little damselfly looking ones don't do a lot of damage. Yeah, I'm pretty safe as far as predators go. You guys have a bit of a toss-up between complex clothing and electricity, so if you haven't voted already, please feel free to do so, or I'll determine it via coin flip. So you got 1 minute left on that poll. And then after I get the actual walls of this defense in, the purpose of this defense also allows us to... So one of the things that this defense will do is it will give us like a bottleneck choke point, able to drive would-be tribal attackers into fighting me. And then deadfall traps in case I get overwhelmed. But once this is done, it's also going to require a lot of steel. So I'm going to have to ramp up steel making to get this going. You can keep it as a tie if you want. It's fine. Hey, we have our first biosolids. Nice. Nobble's staying up late. Goodness. Commitment to the rice. I think I'm going to stop sowing extra rice, because this is a lot more food than I really have need of. So I'll have her chill for that. Alright, poll says electricity by a single vote. It's going to be pretty funny to have access to electricity, but absolutely no use for it, because we don't have any power generators or anything. So electricity in this mod set gives us the ability to make like conduits, but that's it. Also seems like I am in need of some more chunk hauling. So let's do this the fast way. Do we need a seed order for the hill route? Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I'll get that in just a moment. So the first heal root isn't even going to be medicine. It's just going to be seeds for more heal root. And we'll do until we have like 30 of them, maybe. Because heal root is not a naturally occurring crop in this world. There is something called heal fern, which is naturally occurring, but I don't believe there is any on this map tile. Nope. So worst case scenario, if we could go on an expedition to try to find heal fern, if we find ourselves in dire straits. But let's hope we don't run into that scenario, because it'd be pretty dangerous for us. Lost 1 meat. That's fine. What is everyone working? Oh, you are making lots of wood. What a good kid. You must not take after Dad. Yeah, if I could figure out where... if I could understand the Leoa language and figure out where their villages are, there is an opportunity to trade. It is possible to trade without knowing their language. It's just it's just really inefficient to trade without knowing a language. But not impossible. You just run up some pretty severe trade penalties. Not a big deal, but not ideal either. Well, Spiller's been doing a really good job of trying to clear the construction zone. So now it's up to Ken to get the building going. And Nabla is making stone blocks. So we still have to plant cut the area. I was leaving the ferns behind because they don't really offer enough cover that I care about it. But they do brew up to beer. So I think it's probably best to leave them until I've got brewing going. Yeah, that language barrier is rough. I don't know how to speak their language. And it might be possible to take one of the Leoa exiles hostage to learn the language. But I would only consider that if I could guarantee that the children were safe. So basically, building a prison cell that is completely separate from our colony. So if the prisoner breaks out, they don't break into anything. They break out and leave. They have no access to the children. So at some point, I'll maybe make a prison cell that is safe. But we'll see. Well, you know, I don't think I'm going to care about covering up the wood drying racks. If it rains, it rains. I'm not going to micromanage it so closely anymore. Plus, the rain is really good for the heel root. So I think the heel root here is fertilized and also getting rained on. So its fertility is like 150, which is pretty awesome. Prison cell that leads to the trap corridor? That's pretty inhumane. I don't want the children to ever see that. Well, I could probably keep it from the prying eyes of the children, but still, that sounds pretty dark, if you ask me. Just because we're on a dinosaur planet doesn't mean we have to lose our humanity, right? Oh, shoot. I repainted the unroofed zone and screwed up the torch that was illuminating the farm. That's better. So once this section around the traps is done, I can put the door in there. I didn't want to put the door in there earlier, though. Because it would open up a vulnerability. Jeez, how much wood did he make? Yeah, he really processed a lot of it. I suppose it's one of the nice byproducts of this project is we ended up cutting a whole lot of trees down to make room for the deadfall area. And as a result, we end up with tons of wood, too. And some palms. So we have some palms here spoiling, but you guys didn't vote for brewing, so it's gonna rot. It's fine. Ooh, an eclipse. Is it a solar or lunar eclipse? I mean, it's 5 in the morning. Who knows? I think it's supposed to be solar. Yeah. I'm going to raise our firewood up to 100 now. We've got 2 passive coolers going and a bunch of torches, more than we had before, so kind of makes sense. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Jurassic Splashdown, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind this streamed one time only as a marathon. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Special thanks to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, fellow survivors in this jungle world.